that are associated with motherhood.
Yeah.
It's exciting for all of us. Oh, congratulations! Wow, then Obana Bema,
Yeah.
and all of that. But the aftermath is not always rosy. What happens?
Yeah. You know. So, like you said, the mental health aspect of motherhood can be really, really stormy. But unfortunately, we don't get to hear so much about that, even though that has huge implication for the woman herself, for her baby, for her partner, and the rest of the family, and of course for the society. You know, what happens is that pregnancy is a stressful period for the woman because when a woman is pregnant, the body goes through lots of changes. Okay, the first 3 months of pregnancy we call the first trimester. The woman is battling with the body's reaction to the pregnancy hormones, which is what makes her unable to eat. She's puking, excess saliva, so she's unwell. Okay, sometimes she pukes so much that she's so dehydrated, comes into hospital, receive infusions on and off, all of that. She can't work, she can't dress her usual self, she can't stand the smell of even her most special perfume. The husband's perfume become nauseating to her. And so the woman goes through all of this. The second trimester of pregnancy, yes, she's got a bump, she's happy about it. By the third trimester, the hips begin to hurt. When they get up, it's painful. When they are turning in bed, it's painful. The hormones are coming in. They can't sleep good quality sleep at night. So during the day, they may be a bit grumpy. They have to wake so many times to pee because the heavy uterus doesn't make enough urine to get there before you feel like urinating. She says, the tone of my skin has gone down, my nose is looking bigger, I've got these rashes, I'm itching, I've put on weight, which is just because the pregnancy comes with a bit of fluid retention, so they look bigger. My feet are swollen, I can't wear my heels. And the woman is going through all of these. Okay? At the same time, they're also wondering, okay, so this is my baby cry. Will he look like my husband? The doctor says it's a baby girl. Will she have hair? The woman is processing all sorts of these, in addition to the fact that will baby be okay?
Yeah.
Which is the basic fundamental thing. The pregnant woman is always asking herself, repeating to me and repeating to the people around her. So it makes pregnancy very stressful. Fortunately, the what we call the afterbirth, the placenta, during pregnancy, which connects the baby to the mother, produces some hormones,
Okay.
chiefly progesterone and estrogen. So they are going to repeat that after me.
Protein.
Progesterone,
Progesterone.
correct, and estrogen.
Okay.
Good. So those serve as good triggers for some feel good hormones from the brain.
Okay.
And so these feel good hormones from the brain, chiefly dopamine, serotonin, they help to keep the pregnant woman in a lot of the cases going. Okay, going. So even though she's going through so much, the body has a way of, taking care of her. Then at delivery, when the baby has come and the placenta is delivered, then this good hormone, progesterone and estrogen levels drop. Okay, but then there's a new era of stress for the woman, the stress of baby care. Right, she can't sleep the full night. 2 to 3 hours she has to wake up and breastfeed. The baby is crying. When she gets into the shower to take a shower, they are calling her, baby is crying, your baby is crying. If she delivers sometimes through a cesarean section, she may be having a bit of pain from the surgical site, or if she had an episiotomy, the little bit of cut we do to widen the birth canal, she's sore over there. She's going through all of these extra stresses. But what was supporting her to cope with the stress of pregnancy, that support system is gone off. And then, depending on how vulnerable or how much support that person has, she'll be tipped into one of the forms of maternal mental health disorder.
Oh, I see. So there's what we call maternal mental health disorder.
Yeah.
It's a classified
It's a
disease.
classified disease with different various subtypes. So take for instance, you may have heard of postpartum blues, or maternity blues, maternal blues, or baby blues,
Right.
where typically first-time mothers after delivery, she say, "Yeah, is that me? I've got my baby." Oh, and she's crying. She's a little soft labor mood, just to warm up to what is at stake. That is not a big problem because within a few days it fades off. So that's one. Another one is called postpartum anxiety.
Okay.
Just after delivery, the woman is so anxious. She won't allow you to go near the baby. She's so anxious. And that also doesn't last beyond 10 to 14 days. It clears off. Sometimes they just need a bit of support and assurance and encouragement by those close to them, the partner, the family. Then the postnatal depression or postpartum depression is the common severe one, where the woman doesn't see the fun side of anything. She's not happy. She's all gloomy inside. You know, she can't sleep. She can't smile. Uh, she's so deeply gloomy, deep inside her. There's nothing you do. And just because she's battling the stress of the new change, new motherhood, the stress of baby care, the stress of not having enough sleep, and the sudden drop in the hormones that were supporting her, that kept her going. So if in the midst of that there is no great support, chiefly from the partner, from her parents, family, in-laws, then that depression can move from mild to moderate to severe.
Right.
Then it is getting increasingly problematic.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, globally, 20% of all death in women within 1 year after delivery is due to suicide.
Suicide.
20 out of 100 women after delivery. And suicide only means that severe depression. Those who commit suicide have severe depression. Severe depression makes someone to commit suicide. In Ghana here, a study that we did, that I led a few years ago, 3-4 years ago, we found 13% of our women post-delivery, 2 weeks post-delivery, 13% were suicidal.
They were contemplating suicide.
Yes.
13%.
13 out of 100. Typically how our system works, after delivery, we check you in for postnatal care 2 weeks, another 2 weeks. By 6 weeks, once you are okay, you are discharged. And so within the first 1 year after birth, if 13% are suicidal, we don't get to see much activity following up, getting to even know. So who knows what happens to these our women?
Yeah.
And you know what it means if we lose one mother? The impact on the children,
Yeah.
their upbringing, everything else is distorted. The family is disrupted, and the burden it imposes on society. And that is severe depression.
Yeah.
Then the most severe form of the maternal mental health disorder is what we call postpartum psychosis, where due to these same things plus some individualized pre-existing vulnerability, the woman after delivery gets psychotic. She's hearing voices when no one is talking, and she's seeing things when there's nothing there. And that can really get so severe that the woman is hearing a voice that, hey, there's something worse than dying which is about to happen to your child. So you are better off killing the child yourself to save the child from that thing which is worse than dying. And they hear that. Another voice says, all the gloomy feeling you're feeling is just because of the presence of this baby. So take the baby out. And so some unfortunately respond and they kill their babies. That is when we have postpartum psychosis. So that is the spectrum.
Okay.
Right. And these are the gloomy aspects of motherhood that we hardly get to talk about. And so we know little about it, even though the impacts are grave.
Okay. I think what's key for me, and I'd want everybody else to learn, is what can be done about it. Not
Absolutely.
just the women, but from the way you describe it, everybody has a role to play, from husbands to family members, in-laws, and
In-laws.
whatnot. Yeah. So let's do that. But before that, if you're listening in and you have a question, or you can relate and you want to share a story, you can call me on 0302216541, or you can send us a WhatsApp message on 055 okay? 0302216541, or WhatsApp 055 So what can be done about this?
Yeah. So what can be done depends on what the person has. First of all, we are realizing that a lot of women who are becoming mothers are not fully aware of what to expect in motherhood. Okay. Earlier this week, the psychologist was teaching me that there is now parental distress, which we are going to very soon classify as a disease. Okay. The stress of parenthood. And our concern, for instance, is that take premarital counseling. If we could spare a moment to teach these young couples to be that, hey, these are some of the things that lay ahead. And then, should you feel this way or see this way, this is the way to deal with it, seeking help.
Yeah.
We can achieve a lot of prevention and early help seeking.
Wow. Before you move on, let me get on the phone line. One of our friends is here. Hello.
Lexis,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Nice. What's your name?
Collins.
All right, Collins, you're live. Let's hear you.
Charlie, my heart self coach. You know, my daughter, I was in the labor room with them, but I literally couldn't stay there. But I said, I'm pushing by. And I'm not a doctor to advise anyone, but what I will say is that our mothers, we thank you. We appreciate you so much. God bless you for all that you go through. I feel na matter said that Omoba or Musuba and I barry or can be your one son and your more.
Yeah.
Doctor, the way you talk today, you like I know where you anybody.
Oh.
I'm on for more than me mobile mess, psycholosis. Nobody can be psycholosis from.
Yo, Collins. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, that's a real thing. You see, so then the woman comes home after delivery, and this thing can go on for up to a year after delivery. So then the husbands typically feel that after my wife has delivered, she has changed. She's no more interested in me. She's no more, and when I go near her, she's battling a lot deep inside. Okay, so what those women need is a lot of understanding, what we call psychosocial support, support from the immediate family. So what we are saying is the awareness, first and foremost, that these things do happen, and there's a biological or a physiological reason why they happen. And so if after delivery you go through this, then there are some risk factors which can predispose one person to this disorder more than the other. For instance, we realize from research locally that women who have 3 or more children, and we're relating that to just the socioeconomic burden of adding more to the family,
more children,
and then women, we know theoretically that first-time mothers were at higher risk, but now we are learning from the case of Ghana that women who have more, women who have a non-supportive spouse.
Okay.
Now, unfortunately, we have seen that 1 out of every 3 women in Ghana pregnant is being abused by their partners.
Oh no.
What we call intimate partner violence.
Oh.
1 out of 3.
No, that's damning.
It is crazy. And the abuse takes any form. It could be physical, emotional, sexual. And the most common is emotional abuse. So you can imagine what I've said about a pregnant woman going through all this burden of the pregnant state. and then on top of that, being abused emotionally.
That's a lot.
It adds on and it worsens the pregnancy outcome.
Let me get on the phone line. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, dear. What's your name?
I'm Rebecca.
Rebecca.
Yes.
Yes, let's hear you, Rebecca.
Thank you so much for this program. Most women, we don't know a lot of issues about giving birth or birth pains and after the delivery as well. When I gave birth to my baby girl, like 26 years ago, I experienced this pain, very, very, very serious pain, and it happened like 20 seconds, and it will come. It got to a point that I couldn't hold my baby, so I have to be near the bed. When the pain is serious, then I'll drop the baby on the bed. You see, and my last child was 5.6. It wasn't easy. I had a severe cut, and how things got intact again is just the miracle work of God. So we will plead that when during antenatal visits, they shouldn't just tell us, eat well, bring this, bring this. They should go deeper to educate the mother that maybe this is your condition, this is your problem, this is what you're going to experience after birth. So you have to do A, B, C, D. Then the mother would be, because it's not easy. It's not easy. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you so much for sharing this experience as well. Doc.
Yeah.
That's serious, huh?
It is. It is. So it comes down to the point of the support, primarily from the home to start with, and then the husbands, which is why sometimes when the woman gives birth and she's single, they tend to be at a slightly higher risk, and sometimes when the woman has delivered and they've lost the baby, those are very important triggers, and so we need everybody to be aware that these things are likely to happen. And so if after delivery, your friend, your spouse, your daughter-in-law, you think you are all happy around her, but she alone doesn't seem to be coming around as happy as everybody else, she's not being prideful or ungrateful. She's battling a lot deep inside. The message is that when we detect these unusual mood behaviors, early and prompt help seeking. Once we detect it early, a lot of it just some professional counseling.
Okay.
And that is fine.
Yeah.
Another one will have to go through a couple of sessions. Another one may require medication, depending on severity.
Okay. Okay.
There is certainly help. There's no point for our women to go through this alone.
Yeah.
And because if it persists for long, the woman is not able to take good care of their baby. They don't get to bring the babies for the vaccination and what we call the child welfare clinic services. The babies cannot be fed. We say exclusive breastfeeding. Keep the baby on the breast. The breast milk, that's great for the baby. Makes them very intelligent, gives them immunity, fighting infections. The woman who is depressed after delivery cannot do that. So this baby is going to be fed formula. They get diarrhea. They get infection. They are hospitalized. It worsens things, And in a long term, these babies whose mothers suffered any of these postpartum depression, perinatal mental health issues, tend to have difficulty with their IQ.
Oh.
These children, yeah.
Wow.
Difficulty with social behavior, cognition, and even physically, their growth is stunted. A lot of issues, even for the little kid.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's every reason for us to do something about this.
Well, this week, when you set out to celebrate your mom, you need to remember that they might have had to battle some of these very, very severe mental health related issues and seen you through to wherever you are today. That's actually a good reason for you to celebrate your mom. And more importantly, protect our women around this time and seek help for them with them and help them as well. I think that this message is also a lot more for the men today,
Yes,
honestly.
it is.
I'm grateful that we got to talk about this. I wish we could actually delve more into it, but this education and this awareness is very important today. And this week, as we celebrate our mothers, I know there probably are people out there who might want to reach out to you and all. Can they come by Ship Healthcare?
Sure, yes, they can. Our doors are open. If you've delivered the past 6 weeks, up to 1 year, and you can relate to any of these things, the message is there is help.
Yeah.
You don't need to suffer in silence. There's a lot of people suffering in silence. That shouldn't continue, because then it affects other aspects of your life, like we said. And in church, at a workplace, someone has delivered, and you've noticed the change. That no, she's changed. She's no more as bubbly. She's going through a lot. Let's point them to seek help. And
Yeah.
of course, our doors are open.
Absolutely. You can also call Doctor on 0302 631 880. That's 0302 631 880. That's Ship Healthcare Medical Center. Doc, it's been great having you again. As always, you're really kind and helpful. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you.
Yes.
And then happy Mother's Day in advance.
Happy Mother's Day to all our
And I heard
mothers
there's
out
a
there.
dance date set up for you. I heard from Winston this morning.
Winston,
We'll be on the sidelines to cheer you on, man.
Winston said Okotongwanoma. Winston, I'll show you something small this weekend. Thank you, Dr. Promise Sefogah, as a consultant obstetrician, gynecologist, and fertility specialist.